And there is a big breaking news coming in, as we were telling you earlier, about the UK free trade deal. So India and UK have signed this deal. Right now we are getting this information. India and UK have signed on this deal. This is the largest agreement Britain has signed since leaving the European Union, which is Brexit. So now we know for a fact that this deal has been inked. It's going to benefit both the countries mutually, not just India, but also UK. UK also stands to gain a lot from this deal. India, of course, will get some products from UK, which were earlier on a very high duty scale. Tariffs are being cut down for the UK companies, and India also gets access to markets in UK. And also, importantly, this is almost $34 billion deal. How is it going to impact the relationship between the two countries? How is it going to impact the trade in the two countries? How is it going to impact the economies of the two countries? This is something which is very important. It is a historic trade deal. India and UK, after the meeting of the two prime ministers, and the visuals as you see on your screens were released to the media, after this meeting, India and UK have signed on the free trade agreement as was expected. In fact, this was the single most key element of this visit that the Prime Minister has undertaken while the monsoon session is undergoing. He has undertaken this two-nation tour, of which first is UK, the second is Maldives. But this was the single most important thing that was on the agenda. After this, he will be meeting with the monarch, that is the King Charles III. He will have a meeting with him. But before that, the pact between India and UK has been signed. There are multiple things that come into this ambit. Firstly, let's talk about the UK industry. Well, in terms of the UK industry, they're going to benefit quite a bit because a lot of things which were taxed in double digits are now down to single digits, something like the automobiles. In fact, there were reports in multiple newspapers that said that many people who were planning to buy the luxury vehicles that come from UK, the super luxury vehicles, have put their buying on hold because this is going to significantly impact this. Remember, if a car is worth crores, then a reduction in the duty from, let's say, 15% to 3% means a huge amount. So currently what we know is that the deal has been signed. It is involving a multitude of sectors between India and UK, and we will be bringing you more details of this deal in a few moments from now. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about what is happening between India and UK. There was a meeting between the Prime Minister, the two Prime Ministers of the two countries. We see the visuals of them meeting, and then afterwards we have received this news that yes, the deal has been signed. Joining me now is editor of India Today Global, Pranay Upadhyay. Pranay, finally the historic deal has been signed. Do tell our viewers point by point, how is it going to impact the two countries and especially India?
Definitely, you rightly use the word of this deal being very historic indeed, Anjali, because these visuals will remain in the history because India and United Kingdom, because we have a colonial past, we have a history of the trade relationship, and India has a very bitter past of dealing in terms of business with the United Kingdom in past. But now it was UK who wanted to deal to have this FTA with India, which is a growing and a fastly moving, rapidly growing economy, and UK and India negotiated this deal over the course of 3 years, and now finally the moment has come. This historic visuals of Chequers House, which is the country residence of British Prime Minister, their Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and British Prime Minister Keir Starmer had a meeting, and after that the Indian Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal along with his British counterpart Mr. Raymond signed this FTA, and now this FTA will have to be ratified by the British Parliament, because that is the constitutional requirement in UK. So this enforcement of this FTA might take some time, but now the legal provision of an FTA is there. And let me take you through the various sectors which will get benefited, especially in terms of the Indian economy. So the biggest beneficiary of it would be the textile sector. You know that India's textile sector is a huge sector, and which accounts for around 1,143 tariff lines, and which contributes around 11.77%. And this textile sector will now get the zero tariff duty in UK market. Besides that, in terms of the leather and footwear products, that will also get a zero excess. Most of the 99.7% of the tariff lines are covered under this FTA, Anjali. And from 70%, the highest tariff for any Indian product, which was reduced after this, which get reduced after this FTA, will be from 70% to 0%. So you can imagine, what greater access, what wider access will be available for Indian products in the UK market after this FTA. So one can make out, besides that, the agriculture product, the zero duty market access will be there for the Indian spices. India is a great and a big producer of spices. So Indian turmeric, Indian cumin, and Indian products, Indian especially the spices, will get a better and a greater access in UK market. Besides that, Indian food processing industry will also be a big beneficiary after this FTA in terms of the market access in UK. UK is one of the large economies, one of the prominent G7 economies, and also let me make this point here, Anjali. As we were discussing, that India has also managed to safeguard the interest of the agri products, especially in terms of the dairy, especially in terms of the oil seed, because India did not have to reduce the tariff lines for the UK products. So that remains our core concern. That is a win for India in terms of getting a better and a greater market access in UK and safeguarding the own products as well.